So, Scooby-Doo, a series by Hanna-Barbera, which started in 1969 with the show Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? In this video, I'm going to try and explain what made this simple show such a behemoth of a franchise, not only back then, but also today, over 50 years later, through all the ups and downs. And believe me, this franchise has had a lot of ups and downs. To start off, let's go to the people behind the show and ask what was their intention for it. During the 1960s, there was a demand from broadcasters for less violent programming. This led to shows like the Archies and Wacky Racers coming to TV in the late 60s. This also prompted CBS to ask Hanna-Barbera to create a show where a group of teenage friends solve mysteries. Hanna-Barbera writers Joe Ruby and Ken Spears came up with the basic templates for the characters, and after much refining with the help of Joseph Barbera and William Hanna, they settled on the names and designs that we know today. Everything was in place, and on September 13th, 1969, the world met Scooby-Doo for the first time. So, what exactly made this show such a hit? Everyone who has seen Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Knows that it is very formulaic. The gang are travelling somewhere in their van, the Mystery Machine, mostly at night on some quiet, foggy road, only for them to reach their destination and find out that there is some kind of monster terrorizing the area. So what do our young group of misfits do? They split up, looking for the clues to try and take this monster down, of course. I'm sure we could all name things which happen in almost every episode. Velma loses her glasses, Scooby and Shaggy get Scooby snacks, Fred sets up some elaborate trap to catch the monster, Daphne gets trapped or kidnapped, they engage in a chase scene with the villain. All of this is like clockwork. Even the ending to every episode was the same. The so-called ghost or monster turns out to be someone we met previously in a costume, usually having some cliche motive like being a real estate developer or wanting to scare people out of some inheritance. Now please don't misconstrue the simplicity of this as me criticizing it though. Despite the simplicity, this all just works. The same can be said for the other running gags. Despite their simplicity, they just work. Some of the gags and sequences are genuinely funny.
Which way did they go?
They went that way.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's all right.
I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves. Well, what do you know? A ham sandwich. Wouldn't you know it needs some mustard? This has got to be my imagination, otherwise I'd be scared stiff. Now, maybe my imagination can, like, cut it in half?
In a strange way, the laugh track even adds to some of these scenes. The show always makes sure to have something going on screen to keep the viewers interested for the 20 odd minutes. But all of this is well and good, but there still needs to be some variety to keep viewers coming back every week, right? Well, kind of, yes. Let me share with you what, in my opinion, are the two main reasons why this show managed to stay fresh through its original 2-season run. The first reason is the villains themselves. When I watched Scooby-Doo as a kid, I would be so interested to see what the bad guy looked like, and what kind of trick they would play, or what type of scream they would have. Some of them were particularly impactful. Like that one, for example. A perfect representation of how creative some of these monsters were is the spooky space kook. He has a great design, no one can tell me otherwise, and the Creeper is one of the most iconic monsters in the series. Even if they all turned out to be someone in a mask, who cares? When they were on screen, they all made an impact and often stole the show. This is a rare thing for a villain, especially an episodic one, to be able to do. Probably even more so back then, but these villains managed to accomplish that, and it was undoubtedly one of the main reasons for the show's success. The second reason, of course, was the main characters. I have said it many times, you don't need to reinvent the wheel to have a successful cartoon show. You just need to have an energetic cast of characters, which has at least someone who everyone can relate to, and which one someone relates to is different for everyone. Maybe you liked how smart Velma was. Maybe you liked how Fred was always the one to be a leader and take charge. Maybe you liked Shaggy for how funny he was, or how scared or hungry he always was. Maybe you like Scooby for the same thing, but just a talking dog version. Maybe you like Daphne for being the pretty one? Yeah, she was the least developed out of them for sure, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure everyone found some value in, and related to at least one of the 5. For me, by the way, like a lot of people, it was Shaggy. I always found him to be the funniest of the group. Scenes like this one where he eats a sandwich are just classics. So yes, when you combine a show with a simple but interesting style, with characters and villains that the viewer can care about, it's no wonder why it became so big. So that is my answer to the question I posed in the title, and by extension, the end of this video. However, I'm not done exploring this series just yet. You see, just because the franchise had established an audience, it doesn't mean that it was going to rest on its laurels. The program's formula lent itself to seemingly endless variations, which unsurprisingly led to numerous spin-off shows through the decades, some better than others. So in my next video about the series, I'll make it a bit of a retrospective, where I look back at all the shows of the series. I won't go over all of them in great detail, but the ones I know more about, I will cover in good detail. And I'll basically give you my take about what I thought worked and what didn't work about each one of them, and maybe also analyse how the series changed over time. If you enjoyed this video and would be interested in seeing me release the next one, please be kind enough to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. That video should be out in a month or so, as I want to get a Simpsons video out in between, for all the people who have been following that series. That's me signing out for now, guys. See you later and take care.